Hello and welcome to this online lesson. My name is Mr. Hoven, and today we are going to do another quick review looking at the League of Nations and Pearl Harbor. We're going to spend a little bit of time just looking at their implications, especially with foreign policy and how they may have gone against or for the Washington farewell address, where he emphasized staying out of foreign affairs. So very quickly, after World War I had ended, President Wilson created his 14 points. One of those points was the idea of creating a League of Nations in order to promote peace throughout Europe and the rest of the world. Now, the European Union didn't really accept all points of Wilson's 14 points, but however, they did accept the idea of a need for a League of Nations. And despite President Wilson's mention of a need for the League of Nations, the U.S. Senate rejected the U.S. joining the League for fear it would bring us into future wars. As you can see in this picture, you've got the senator who's under the covers. He said, "See that horrible vulture? Take it away! Take it away! Take it away!" Because the little dove there is representing the League of Nations. Again, the senators, most of the United States was really wary of getting involved in anything like an alliance that would pull us into future wars. Again, we were trying to kind of take a step back from our involvement in world affairs and really isolate ourselves or try to stay neutral. However, at this time, despite our staying out of the League of Nations, it was darn near impossible. So, without the United States as part of the League of Nations, again, President Wilson didn't want to rub Germany's face in the loss, didn't want to punish them further. However, League of Nations sought to punish Germany after World War I. The organization adopted the Treaty of Versailles, which forced Germany to pay war reparations, made Germany take full responsibility for starting World War I, and took away all German, not all, but some of German lands. Again, the U.S., we did not want to get involved with this League of Nations because we were worried that it would bring us into future wars and conflict. Again, staying neutral. Kind of observing Washington's farewell address, staying out of foreign affairs, or at least making an attempt to. However, it was, like I said, darn near impossible for the United States to stay completely neutral at the outset of World War II. During World War II, at the beginning, we tried to maintain our neutral stance. However, we were trading with the Allies, and we cut off trade to many of the Axis powers, including Japan. The U.S. had an embargo on the Japanese in response to their aggression in the Pacific. Roosevelt put this embargo, which froze all Japanese funds in U.S. banks, and the sale of gasoline, oil, and steel to Japan was stopped, prohibited. Again, even though we claim neutrality, we were still kind of involved. This angered the Japanese. And in response, an event happened that shook the foundation of this country. Up until December 1941, the U.S. had little interest in entering another war, as isolationist ideas were still popular and we were still struggling to dig ourselves out of the Great Depression. The U.S. stance of neutrality would come to an end on December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. On December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor was suddenly and deliberately attacked by the Empire of Japan. 3,000 plus sailors lose their lives in this sneak attack. Dozens of U.S. ships and planes are destroyed in the attack, which lasts over an hour. And FDR immediately declares war on Japan, and in a fireside speech, he declares December 7th, 1941 as a day that will live in infamy. The road to war. Following FDR's speech, the Senate voted 82-0, and the House voted 388-1 to declare war on Japan. Coming to Japan's defense, Germany declares war on the United States on December 11th, 1941. So the U.S., we went from two positions of neutrality into conflicts. Again, League of Nations didn't want to get into it, didn't want to be involved, would bring us into future wars. Tried to stay neutral in World War II. Pearl Harbor, it's an event, gets us involved, going against Washington's farewell address, not staying neutral, not staying out of foreign affairs. And the lasting effects are still somewhat with us today. That about wraps things up for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.